Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Shivers. Now, in this episode, we are going to look into stories from the National Service. Now, for those of you who may not know, National Service is mandatory for young men who have reached the age of 18 years old. Now, if they are not continuing their studies after their high school, right, they are supposed to straight away report for national service either in the army, in the police, or in the civil defense. Now, for myself, I'm involved in the army and I served for about 2.5 years. Mine is a direct intake, so basically I spend 2.5 years in straight away in the unit itself. I do not go to Tekong or to do my basic military training. Instead, I do my basic military training in the unit itself. So basically, my unit is stationed or located in the east. I cannot mention which camp because the camp is still in service right now. However, there is a lot of stories that has happened in that camp, so I don't want to scare you guys, whoever is serving in that camp right now. Okay, anyway, let's start with our first story. Okay guys, the first incident happened at the beginning of my BMT period. Now, to give you guys a rough idea, for those of you who are not from Singapore, right, to give you guys a rough idea, our bunk beds are actually double story, and usually in a bunk there will be about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 12 people in a section, right, or in a bunk itself. So my bunk is actually located on the 4th floor of the building. Alright, it's a Charlie company, or some of us would say Charlie Koi. Right, Alpha Bravo is in an adjacent building. So basically, what happened was that after our dinner, we had our wash up. Of course, there are night snacks. Night snacks meaning a bit of like bun and a bit of coffee or chocolate drinks, right? After that will be lights out. Lights out usually will be about 2230 or 2300. That's about 10:30 to 11 o'clock, right? Now what happened was that after lights out, everybody went to sleep. Now I went to sleep, as we all are very tired. Most of us totally knocked out, right? Totally knocked out. Now my bed is actually on the first level, right? Beside me is my so-called section mate. On top is my buddy. Beside is, which is on top of my section mate, is his buddy. So what happened was that after we had gone to sleep, somehow or other, somewhere in the middle of the night, I felt like going to the toilet. So I went up, I went to the gents, I released myself, and I came back in. I went onto my bed. I was about to fall asleep when suddenly my buddy came down, and he was really like pissed off. I then was like really puzzled why he was pissed off, because everybody was fast asleep, and there was no reason to be pissed off about. Then I asked him, bro, what's up? And what he said was, your locker has been shaking since just now. I was like, if it's true that it has been shaking, I would have already got up, and a lot of the bunkmates will be awakened by the shaking of the locker itself. But it only happened to him. He is on top, I'm below, and my locker is just right beside me. How come did he only hear the shaking of my locker and not me? right? That was what happened. So I was pretty puzzled until now. I still haven't got the answer to that. Even when I asked my bunkmates, right, did they hear anything yesterday night or the day before, the night before? Everybody said nobody heard anything. So what was actually shaking that he heard or my buddy heard? And what actually caused the shake? That is what puzzles me until now. So it remains unanswered, and I hope whoever is sleeping in that bunk does not encounter the same thing as what my buddy did. But so far during my reservist there was no issue, because I think my buddy actually deferred reservist, so we are already not in the same unit. So far during my reservist there's no issue, so I don't think I will also meet him to ask him again whether is there any issue with the lockers or not. So that was one of the experience during the BMT period. The next one is also during the BMT period, also in the same location, but it's on the left side. That means between me and my bunkmate, the bed beside me. Okay, so going on to the next story, it is like I mentioned earlier, it is during the same period during the BMT time, right? Basic military training. It is in the same bunk. It is in the same position. That means my bed, my section mate, his bed just beside me. Now, at night, people tend to walk up and down the corridor of our bunk. So happened that our bunk is just along the way to the next platoon or the next section, which is, I mean, we are stuck in between two sections. One is another section from another platoon, and on the right hand side is another section from my platoon. So happened that that night, one of the guys from the other section of my platoon walked past our bunks. Usually our bunks, the windows will be open wide, the fans will be turned on full blast, because everybody's body is hot after the day's training. So there wouldn't be any windows that are closed. So what happened was that when he passed by, he just happened to look around inside the bunk to see if anybody is awake. Okay, so what he saw was that in between my bed and my section mate bed, there was a person who seems to be like in the position or in a praying position. Now, if now this is not to say anything about religion, but if you guys see how Muslim prays, our Muslim brothers and sisters pray, there's the mat and they pray on the mat itself. Now, that is the same thing that he saw in between my bed and my section mate bed that night. So the next day he came and approached me, because I was totally gone. My buddy, my section mate, all was totally gone. So he approached me the next day. He asked me, "Hey bro, yesterday you praying? Okay, that was my cat. So he asked me, "Hey bro, yesterday you praying? I saw somebody praying in beside you." I said, "Bro, if I'm praying, then who's beside me? Or if I'm sleeping, then who's praying?" I asked him that question, so he was like puzzled. Then I asked my section mate who is sleeping beside me, in the bed beside me. I say, because he often prays, right? He's a Malay, and he often prays. So basically, it may be him that was praying in the middle of the night. But the question goes, we don't have any prayers at night unless it's the special prayers or the sunnah that is practiced by some of the Muslims, usually which is about two times up and down kind of thing. So I approached him. I asked him, did you pray yesterday night? He said no. So if it's a no from him and it's a no from me, who was that in the middle praying? Both of us cannot answer. The one that saw that person also cannot answer. So also that one still remains unanswered until now. Same bunk, same bed, in between, right? Which means it's beside on the left. The one that is vibrating or the shaking locker, it was on the right. So until now, both of the incidents remain unanswered. So good luck to whoever is sleeping in that bunk. Okay, so the next story actually happened, or the next incident actually happened in the middle of my service during my national service, if that makes sense. Okay, so basically it's in the middle of my national service, and during that time we are very busy with outfield, and every night was outfield, come back, wash up, then the next day go outfield, then come back, wash up, then the next day go outfield again, and the story goes on and on. So long story short, that night we just came back from an intensive training or intensive outfield. Everybody was totally shacked. Who is not shacked? So everybody came in, the 3 tunnels came in through the gate. Then we unload, we so-called return arms. Then we wash out, we wash our boots. Now, according to the officers or according to our commanders, they say there's a night off. So everybody was so looking forward to the night off. Everybody quickly wash out. Now, while we are washing out, some of the guys are actually doing guard duty downstairs. That means those who are not involved in the outfield, they the support for the guard duties downstairs. So what happened was that after I had my shower, everything, so we went to the smoking corner. The smoking corner was on level 2 or level 4 because at that time we had something going on. I can't recall what. So everybody was like chilling out, smoking corner. So everybody was chilling out, then talking. Then suddenly we heard the guard duty shouting. It was such a ruckus or whatever they call it. It was such a commotion that everybody that was on the smoking point looked down to the guardhouse. Now what we saw was that one of our company mates was actually acting like a cat. I don't know how big a cat. Is that a tiger, panther, lion? There's so many cats. So he was acting so much so like a cat. And I can see that he wasn't himself that night during that guard duty or during that point in time. And it took, I think, about 4 to 5 persons to actually bring him down. So that was such a happening for that night. I mean, for us, it was like we are so tired. It's like, oh, why another thing going on? So everybody wasn't like, so much into. Sorry, that was my cat scratching. So everybody was like so tired, and that thing went on downstairs for quite a while because I think So everybody was so tired and everybody took not much of a notice on what's going down or going on at the guardhouse. So everybody was actually looking forward to the nights out, and we just totally ignored. But the following day, after we had our nights out, we came back, then lights out, sleep. Then the following morning, everybody all start to ask, what happened that night? What has happened until our buddy actually reacted as a cat? So, what has it that this guy or this soldier actually had come across a cat? It was a white cat, right? And the cat was just minding his own business and walking around. That's very common for that particular camp, right? Because for my experience of doing guard duty there, the cat is a pretty common sight in the middle of the night. So what he did was actually to, I hope was to kick the cat, or was it he tried to beat the cat or something like that, and end up that he himself became the cat. So in short, meaning that he got possessed. So that was what happened to the guy. Now, I would say that for in any cases, whether you are in the military or you are in the police or you are in the civil defense, when you come across animals, especially in the middle of the night, right, show some respect, right? Don't take it for granted that it is a cat. Now, for myself, I'm not sure about other people's belief, but for myself, I do believe that these spiritual beings are around. Okay, they may come in various forms. They may come in the forms that you fear most, or they may come in the most gentlest form. Right? So what we have to do is to actually just have some respect towards that particular thing, whether it's an animal or whether it's a being or whether whatever you come across you look it is somehow awkward looking, just give it some respect. So in order for it not to bother you, right? In this case, he did not, he actually did something to that cat. Maybe in return he himself became the cat. So yeah, but luckily nothing bad happened to him. So that's it for this story. Now actually my camp is pretty happening for that kind of location. Not only my camp, is the area around my camp is pretty happening. So good luck for those who are in service right now or serving the national service there. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to our next story. Okay, so the next story is somewhere also during my national service. Alright, it's with past BMT is almost reaching to so-called ROD or ORD. In short, is operationally ready date. That means there's no more national service. There's no more, and in fact, that one is no more national service. So basically, this thing happened during my outfield. Usually, my position is at the end, at the far end of the unit itself. Right, I hold a semi-automatic position. So basically, my deployment will be usually at the far end on the left-hand side. Right, 100% or at least 80% of the time, I will be alone. right? So during this incident, actually we are setting up for defense. So during defense, we actually have to dig up shell script, right? Prepare our defense line, prepare our arc of fire, um, whatever we need to prepare in front, our frontage, whatever, so that we have a clear view, whatever is in front. So all that has to be prepared before 2359. Now, I have this habit if I go outfield, because certain areas they have commando mosquitoes. That means even if you spray whatever insecticide on your body, the commando still never die one. That's weird, but maybe it's jungle. So I have this habit of like taking the camo scarf, wrap around my helmet so that it covers my face, and below I will tie another knot. Right, so it minimizes the gaps in between my collar and my neck. So I did that. Once everything all prepared, right, time to like stand by at the shell script. So I just cover up everything so that I will minimize the mosquito bites. So what happened was that 2359, everybody all stand down. Usually, nothing active. So while I was actually at the end, right, usually alone, initially, now this is, I don't want to scare you guys, for those of you in my position, because it will happen, and it does happen to me a lot of times. So what happened was that at that night, first was a nice smelling flower, and we all know what nice smelling flower signals us or tells us, right? So fine, that one passed by, there was nothing happened. Then now during defense, we have this password, right? And if you do not give us the correct password, we have the right to to shoot you down, or whatever they call it, right? So while I was actually sitting at the end, minding my own business, looking in blank space, because there's nothing to look at, just the jungle, suddenly got this kind of weird figure come walking towards me. I thought he walked like that, so I was thinking that he was carrying a firearm. So okay, just come. So I call out the first password. He has to complete the password in order for me to recognize him as an ally. So I call out the first password. He keep coming. I call out the second password. He still keep on coming. And guess what he did? Now, I'm not trying to scare you guys. This is what he did. He was that close to my face. Luckily, I had that camo scarf. And he didn't even answer a single thing. That means he didn't complete the password. After he did that, he got walk off. Then, because beside me there's another section mate. That section mate actually came over. Then he asked me, "Hey bro, who passed by here just now?" Huh? I don't know leh. I call out the password, he never answer. Serious ah? Who come ah? Like I said lah, I call password, he never answer leh. Huh? Got people come eh? I never hear anything eh. So who actually came just now? During that period in time? Weird. Seriously weird. When you are at the ends of the company formation, you will encounter a lot of weird stuff. But for you guys who are still under training, don't be afraid. this is very common. You will get used to it as you go through your national service. Right? This is in the jungle itself. Right? So, not to worry, don't think too much. Just enjoy your national service. Okay, so my next one is also in the outfields. Now, I can't recall which area was that, but I'm very sure that we were covered with vegetation which is above my height. Now, the vegetation seems to look like leeks, overgrown leeks that reaches up to human level. So it was so packed, and I don't know why our unit chose to set up defense there. And it is very packed, seriously packed with all those leek looking kind of things, that that vegetable leeks. So it was packed, huge. So everybody has to actually either take out their so-called shovel, or what they call it, the army, whatever lah. So we had to actually take out all that and really chop it down in the middle of the hot sun. Now this is in the daytime. This outfield or this defense is set up in the daytime. It is in the middle of the scorching 12 p.m. heat. That means the sun is directly above our heads. So everybody was set up in their position. As usual, I'm over at the end, right? But fortunately for me, the medic is all just behind me above. So we all start chopping down all the leek looking kind of things. So while I was chopping, now again, bear in mind what I said earlier, right? Whatever animal that you encounter, or whatever being that you encounter in the jungle or in the urban environment, have some respect towards it. You wouldn't know what it is, right? So here's what happened. While I was chopping down all that tall vegetation, my medic was behind. I was chopping down the vegetation. Suddenly a cobra pop up. Right? A black color cobra pop up. So I was like, okay, there's a cobra there. For me, it's nothing much of a surprise because I've seen snakes quite a lot. But this is a cobra. So what I did was, I did not attack it first. Right? As usual, because jungles are areas which are seldom, how to say, entered by men. Alright, usually it's the wildlife. So man seldom enters the jungle. So we have to respect whatever that is inside the jungle. It may be from a different world. We wouldn't know. So what I did when I encountered that cobra was pretty simple. Now, if you are a spirit, please mind your own business and carry on. Right? Now, if you are not a spirit and you are still standing here, I will have to kill you. Those words. And guess what happened? The cobra was like that, looking at me. He turned around and he go off. I don't know whether it's a coincidence, but again, to be on the safe side, to be a good practice is to do so. So because you wouldn't know what actually you are killing or you're attacking, whether it's really a being or whether it's a spiritual being. So it is always better to double check. Okay guys, so always remember, double check before you proceed to do something to that particular thing. Right, so our next story will bring us outside of Singapore. Now, as we all know, as the Green Berets or in the army, I'm not sure about the police or the civil defense. Right, for the army, we have overseas training. So basically, we will go overseas to do our trainings over there. Then after that, for maybe about a week or so, then we will come back to Singapore. So for my unit itself, we were given three, or we are scheduled for three. One is Thailand, Brunei, then the other one is Taiwan. Unfortunately, um, for Taiwan, when we are supposed to fly over, there was an earthquake. So Taiwan was totally out. Damn it. Anyway, so this story actually this incident actually happened in Brunei. Now, guys, if you are assigned or you are scheduled to fly to Brunei, make sure that if you are not fit, in fact, any training, if you are not fit or if you are not feeling well, report to your SecCom or section commander. Don't proceed or don't carry on even though you are sick. Alright. Two incidents, one in my unit, right, and the other one is from another unit which result in death. Our unit was almost there because my platoon mate was actually having I think a fever or so, and he didn't actually report sick. He wanted to go out as per normal. I mean, if you are in a brotherhood, we go out together, we come back together. But unfortunately for him, he cannot come back together, or we cannot go out together. So what happened was that now the thing about Brunei, the terrain is really very far different from Singapore. Terrain is really thick greens or thick vegetation, and of course it is the original mountains, right? Mountains, not hills. Singapore are hills, right? In Brunei, it's really mountains. So what happened was that we are actually doing our route march in the terrains, and we, as usual, go up and down the mountains. Unfortunately for my buddy here, my platoon mate, I think he fainted while in the midst of the route march. We are in the middle of a very thick vegetation, or in the middle of climb down in one of the mountains. So basically what happened was that he fainted. So there is no way of carrying him back out because we are already very deep in the vegetation or very deep in the terrain itself. So what we have to do, or what we did, was actually to climb back up the mountain, and cut down the trees that are located at the peak of the mountain and heli evac. So that was what we did twice. One was because of a bee sting, and the other one is because there's two different people. One was because of a bee sting, he almost died. That was a wild bee. And the other one was this platoon mate of mine. So what we did was we cut down all the trees that surrounding the peak of the mountain itself. Right, so that the mountain peak was totally botak already. Bald. No trees, nothing. So that the helicopter can actually go down, get the stretcher, lift up, and bring him to the medical center. Alright, now that is a safety concern. Right? Never go into deep terrain, even though you feel you are okay, but make sure you are okay. If you're falling sick, report sick. Right? Otherwise, your platoons, your company will suffer. Right? And if, like for example, you are really in the deep terrain, even heli evac cannot even reach you, then you got a problem, right? So if you are sick, means report sick. If your commander doesn't allow you to report sick, report to your mother. Okay, as our boys to men say, we got mother, what? Okay, so okay, back to the story. Okay, so this incident actually happened in Brunei. Now, for those of you who have yet to go to Brunei, um, it's a great place. Totally natural, totally shock, right? And you know, you got illegal aeroplanes flying here and there. What I call aeroplanes is they call it cicadas, those big bugs that you can actually roast to eat the bugs. So I think that was about the third day or fourth day. This incident actually happened on the third day or fourth day while we were there. Now the bunks for Brunei itself is a long house, so everybody is inside that long house. So when everybody is inside the long house, same formation, double beds, right? Then the lockers at the side, and yeah, that is almost it. It's just that it's a long house. Woo! Lights out. Okay. Anyway, one fine night, right? Lights out. Everybody fell asleep. Usually the nights there is cold, but not so cold. So this one particular night happens to be very cold. I don't know why, but sorry, that's my cat. After I tell you, then you know the reason why. So basically, it was so cold that it woke me up. So I opened my eyes, and there it is in the middle of my bed and my partner's bed, or my section mate bed beside me, was one man in full battle order, looking at my buddy's or my section mate's bed. It means the bottom bed, not the upper bed, the bottom bed. I was just looking directly at the bed. So I was thinking, tomorrow there is no outfield, and today we didn't come back, or we didn't go outfield. So why is this guy wearing full battle order? That was the question. So I felt uneasy because my goosebumps are all over the place already. So I just cover myself, then wait till morning. Fell asleep, wait till morning. When morning came, after breakfast, everything, I asked my section commander. I asked my section commander. So I asked my section commander. My section commander said he also don't know. He don't know. So he went to ask Encik, Master Sergeant. So when he asked Master Sergeant, or Encik gave back a reply. The bed that was to my left, right, that's where my section mate was lying on, was actually the bed for the boy who passed on in the unit before us. Now that answers my query to why he was looking at the bed, because my buddy or my section mate was actually sleeping in his bed. But I wasn't that satisfied with Encik's answer, or our Master Sergeant answer. I said, yeah, you sure or not? That one was his bed. So what he told us was that if you don't believe, you check under the mattress, he got write his name. Now, if you guys are going to Brunei, don't go around looking for that particular name. I'm not going to tell you his name also. But one thing's for sure is the unit before us. I don't want to tell what incident was that, but it was the unit before us. So it was like, yeah, his name was there. So I told my section mate that he's a Malay guy, like the same Malay guy that I told you in the first story. So he from brown color become white color. So end up he requested to change to the bunk beside on my right. So lucky after he changed the bunk, that person was never seen anymore. Yeah, I told Encik, what happened? Why did he come back? Encik also wasn't able to answer, but I guess he was back to see someone who is sleeping happily in his bed when I guess he wanted to sleep also. So guys, that's it for this episode story. I hope you guys are, or I hope that the stories are entertaining. Right. Now again, I want to inform you guys, I've set up a poll in the community tab. Alright, please do visit and give me your voting to whether I should carry on or not. So far, there's only one voting, so I take it that once it reaches the last episode, which is next week, we will call it or we cut it. Alright, there's no more ghost stories already. Right, so make sure you guys go over to the poll, submit your votes, and let me know whether you guys want me to carry on or not. Right. Also, if, for example, this thing carries on, and you guys want to contribute, by all means, that I will prepare an email for you guys to submit your story. Then you guys can just submit story. If you have pictures, by all means. I also have pictures, but I'm not going to share with you guys. It is a bit scary, but anyway, it all depends. So I hope you guys find it entertaining. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Alright, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and of course press the bell icon to stay informed the latest video posted online. And if there is nothing else, stay safe, ride safe, sleep well, don't let the bed bugs bite, and make sure that nobody is sharing the bed with you.